but he holds up the winner's trophy for the team.
But as I said before, home pride is not just a flower. You know, obviously you've got this pride of wanting to do well at your home circuit, and what a tough weekend for everybody on that grid. What a tough weekend with the weather, with the tyres. You know, you turn up Sunday morning, it looks like the world's ending, and you start to combat that. And I never thought a 9:20 race, well, a morning race at that day would happen. By 10 o'clock we were racing, and yeah, great racing as well. Fair play to all the drivers. And you look at that and think, well, you know, the decisions of the wet races, it's going to be wet all day. Then suddenly it dries out and you've got slicks on. Then suddenly it dries out and it gets wet again. I don't think you could write that. It's Alan Gout very best, a very exciting end to the season. I know everyone thinks he's out there and he goes around, he presses the weather button, but I must admit, after all these years, I'm starting to believe it now, because that was a fantastic finale. Yeah, I mean, I think the racing was great the weekend. We were strong in qualifying. We've been strong for quite a while now, and Ollie's obviously stepped up to the plate this year, and full credit to Ollie and full credit to James Mundy with that, because the two of James Mundy's worked very hard to make that happen with Ollie. And I think that, you know, that the engineer in that particular case doesn't get the credit he deserves, because Ollie is a lump to sort out, and now Ollie's back to his best, or is it his best? I think his best ever, you know, touring car wise. And look at his points this year he's scored. He's not scored anywhere near that in his entire career, so he's done really well. But yeah, I don't know, it was just a very tough weekend, and to get the last race and win it was a nice thing for us. It was on our home soil. It was a win. He needed that. I mean, I think in reflection, when you look back, if you look at that crash and what he did, you know, what happened in the crash, what he went through, what he was put through, and then we went off on this big binge of building the car and getting it back to the racing. We put him back in it 12 days later, and we're all patting ourselves on the back for doing this fantastic job of getting this car to the circuit and it all working right, nothing breaking down. But I wasn't too sure really now, when I look back, whether Rory was actually ready. And I think that probably showed a little bit in the 2 rounds after the crash, and that Rory was still getting himself together, because, you know, concussion manifests itself in different ways from different people. Rory's a very fit guy, so I think he put up a really good front to it, but in my opinion he was still suffering the after effects of that for at least Croft and Snetterton. And the first break, with a 2-week break, gave him time for a bit of rest, and then Rory came back to Brands Hatch, as Rory likes to be, and I think he needed that win. We needed that win. You know, I know Ollie was carrying the can for a while, but I wanted Rory to win, I wanted Ollie to win, but yeah, I'm really glad that Rory managed to get one to finish the season.
Hold up the winning team trophy. It belongs to Motorbase Performance and David Bartrum and all of the team.
We've won it a few times in the past, but not recently, because there's been some very tough opposition out there. And you know, it was a really nice thing for me. We won our first ever touring car race in 2009 on the Indy circuit, because don't use that very often, you know, this time of year, with Rob Collard, and to finish in 2020 and win on the Indy circuit, it felt quite good after this year.
11 podiums, 5 wins, second in the independence teams. Like, it's a real success story this year.
It is success, you know, obviously new car and all the different things that have gone on with, are we racing? No, we're not. Yes, we are. No consistent testing. It's been an incredibly difficult year. I'm really happy. I'm really proud of the team. I'm really proud of the drivers, the work that went into making us as a team, the 3 drivers, not 2, 3 drivers that make the team happen. You know, and I look at it and think, well, that's fantastic, but actually there could have been so much more. You know, you can look back, and you always do, and you think, oh, if, buts and maybes, and everyone's got an if, buts and maybes story on that grid. But I really do think if any one of 2 things hadn't happened, I think we'd have been chasing Ash and Colin and Dan and Tom all the way to the line. You know, I think Rory would have been in with a shout all the way. I think the thing with the punchers at Brands, one of those things, new car, second round in, incredible heat. We didn't react quick enough. I think the middle race fooled us a little bit because of the safety car that gave the tyres more life back. So I look at that weekend and say, had that gone right, we could have probably weathered the storm a bit better from the crash, and we'd have still been in there. Then you look at the crash, the incredible crash really, and you look at the incredible work the team did to get the car back there, to be competitive straight away. And then you look at Rory himself trying to get back over that, as I say. So, you know, it's taken him a while, and he's back to his winning ways. And I think after Winter Rory, we're ready to go, raring to go, and be as quick and fast as ever.
Difficult question, but what's your personal highlight of the year?
Personal highlight of the year was definitely the first win. Although it was a bit of a gutter that obviously we had to get it by not finishing first, because I still think Josh won that race that day. He drove exceptionally well. It was just a shame. Ride height is one of those things we've all been caught out on at some point, and I felt quite sorry for BTC, because like us, they've worked hard. But I think that, you know, it would have been nice if it had been a straight fight from pole and he won it. But we won it. Win's a win. That's what the history books remember. Knockhill was quite nice to watch because of Rory, because obviously home win for him meant a lot. He overdrove that day too much, trying to get a win straight away. It just didn't work for him, and he got the win at the end. So that was another little highlight. But one of the biggest highlights for me, and the lowlights, was the combination Silverstone, that race where Ollie won his first race. Because for me, I was going through all sorts of hell in all different ways that day, you know, because you've got Andy's been off, and he's had that bit of tie-up with whatever it was. I think it was Jade Edwards, and then you've got Rory having a crash like that and the race stopping, and Ollie was in the lead of that race and driving very well, and then Ollie had to do it again and drove very well. So the combination of emotions, the fact that I hugged Paul Jackson, Ollie's father, really sort of shows how far out of kilter my brain was that day. But no, it was there's loads of highlights really, but there's some lowlights as well.